This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. And we got plenty to get to today. We're going to look ahead to Michigan and Nebraska. Big one in the Big Ten coming up on Saturday from Lincoln. Also, several baseball picks today. Before we get to the first pick, Lee, the one thing we will say, or at least I'll give you the floor for this, is big numbers here on the show. We are growing day by day with NFL and college football in full swing.
Yeah, but we still need everyone's help. We appreciate you listening. We really do. And I'm getting a lot of great comments. Kevin and I, working hard. We're up late at night. We're texting each other back and forth. Who knows? Probably sometimes when we're in bed with our wives and they might be sleeping, watching games. And then we wake up early. We go over everything. We are really doing the very best we can to win for you. So we're just asking you to help us out. How can you help us out? Please go to youtube.com. When you go to youtube.com, type in Locked On Bets, three different separate words. And once you get there, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button and like. And once in a while, you like what you hear and see, write a comment. Then also go to Spotify and also Apple. And if you listen to us that way, please subscribe, like, and if you can, leave a comment if you enjoy the podcast. We really do appreciate it. As you help us grow, like I said, we're in this together, both with a common goal to grow the show and also win for you. So thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. We really do appreciate it. Enjoy all the comments. Once in a while when I lose, I may not enjoy them as much as when I win, but appreciate the honesty. So, like I said, we are doing our very best, and I take it to heart when I lose. So, like I said, YouTube, type in Locked On Bets, subscribe, like, same with Spotify and Apple. Leave a comment. It helps us out, helps us grow, helps us put on a better podcast for you, and helps everyone.
Absolutely, and very much happy with all of the support we've had, and just growing day by day. Tell your friends about it, tell your family, tell anybody, and we will continue to bring you Locked On Bets Monday through Friday. So let's begin, Lee. Let's give the people what they want, a hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
We got kind of a twofer here. We're going to get to Padres Mets in a little bit for the game, but we have a prop here. Michael King for the Padres, who came over in that Juan Soto trade from the Yankees. He's a guy that's got a good arm, just had some injuries, but he's on the mound tonight. Padres and Mets beginning a big series at Citi Field. Lee, what do you like with Michael King's K-prop?
So a couple of weeks ago, actually it might be a month ago, I'm sitting in the man cave watching some baseball with some friends, and Michael King's pitching. And I said, do you know who Michael King is? And they're like, one guy looks at me and goes, I know who Stephen King is. So just shows you, this is an under-the-radar guy. So my model here has King with a full strikeout over his prop, which is 4.5 strikeouts, minus 140. Good strikeout numbers against the Mets. I mean, those cannot be denied. In fact, he struck out Pete Alonso, who's been red hot, had the game-winning walk-off 3-run homer in extra innings on Sunday, and Brandon Nimmo here half the time he's faced him. So it's only 4.5 here. They're going to leave him in if he's pitching fairly well. They don't want to go to the bullpen, third, fourth inning. So I think he gets to probably the 6th inning here. He'll make it into the 6th. Who knows? Things go well. Maybe the 7th. 4.5 strikeouts. His numbers are there here. So we're going to go with a hidden gem. We're going to go with Michael King, not Stephen King, over 4.5 strikeouts, minus 140. Start the day off right.
All right, and big game for both those teams. The Padres, two back of the Dodgers. We'll talk about them in just a little bit when we get to the second portion of the analysis for that game. Want to look back, Lee, at last night, and 2-2 on our selections, and won the late game with the Chargers. And before we get to that, with the baseball picks, Mitchell Parker, you had the under on his strikeouts, and that just seemed like never in doubt that he didn't even threaten that the whole night in that loss to the Braves.
I mean, he pitched a while, but one strikeout. That's it. Just not a strikeout guy, especially against that team. So there's always, when you got like 4 or 5 games, there's one easy win. That was the easy win.
Now, the easy loser was the Pirates last night. They just didn't do anything against the Cubs. I had some good numbers on Chicago. In the first 5, they had struggled in a lot of road series openers. They played well, and the Cubs ended up beating the Pirates. So there was the split in baseball. Now, as far as the NFL, we'll tie this all together as far as in the recap and look back at the games, Lee. That first with the Bucs-Texans, Tampa Bay rallies late. Baker Mayfield leads the Bucs down the field. They scored the game-winning touchdown in the final seconds. You had Nico Collins over on his yardage prop, had a big catch out of the gate, had 9 targets, but just couldn't get over it.
Right. I mean, they threw him first play. A lot of times that shows you that he is certainly in the game plan. He's wide receiver number 1. Against the Bucs last week, what happened? Team played him. Wide receiver number 1, 15 targets. He had 9. You end up with 9, you'd think you're going to get a minimum of 5 catches. Well, only 3. Didn't quite even get to 60 yards. But first drive, 5 and out, incompletion, 29-yard touchdown. You're thinking you're on your way. But they didn't have the ball very much, which I think hurt them some. And the offensive line was horrendous. So he just didn't have enough time to sit back and wait for Nico to get open. So unfortunately fell a little under the total, but they were trying.
Now, what about Chargers Raiders, a late night game? Geno Smith got picked off out of the gate. Chargers got a field goal, but the Chargers end up winning another game. Now 2-0 overall, but also more importantly, 2-0 in the AFC West. So you had the Chargers laying the points last night.
Loved them over the Raiders. Raiders aren't there yet. I know they were playing at home, but maybe it was the first time the Raiders had a real home field advantage is when they play the Chargers. Not many Chargers fans around the country, but Chargers are good. They are a solid team. They win the battle in the trenches. They have a quarterback who's really coming on. Geno Smith sometimes is hot, sometimes just tries to fire it in, those 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, and got to have touch on it. And Herbert, he certainly is getting a little bit better with the touch. He's becoming more of a leader, seeing him show his emotions more. And I just think they have a little bit better coaching staff. So nothing against the Raiders. They're in year 1, trying to shake things up, come back. But I think the Chargers are ahead of them. Chargers keep going. 2 big games that they won here. One in Brazil and one in Las Vegas. I think KC's in trouble this year. I think the Chargers are going to win the division.
And the Chargers get another division game next week with the Broncos at home. So just get easier, but you're 3-0 out of the chute in the division. You're in really good shape. Now, I want to go over a couple things with you, Lee, as far as just kind of more of a recap with college football in the NFL from this standpoint. Teams on the rise that you're keeping an eye on in college football. There's a trio out of the SEC that you like, and let's go over those 3 teams that you think are right now on the rise.
Vanderbilt, you think of Vanderbilt as a career loser, but they have a winner at quarterback. And Diego Pavia is a winner. Probably never going to see even an exhibition game in the NFL. Probably the CFL is more his destiny. But the kid's a winner. The head coach found a GM, whatever you want to call it, guy that was a recruiter. He ran a recruiting service. So he's using someone to find talent. They're procuring it. And Vandy has something to offer. The stadium is nothing special. There's no tradition, but they can offer playing time, and playing in the SEC is nice. And Vanderbilt, let's be honest, there's a lot of really good football schools, but a lot of mediocre academic schools. The Mississippi States, the Ole Miss, not terrible, Alabamas, the Tennessees. Vanderbilt, top 15, top 20 school in the country. So you walk out with a degree from Vanderbilt, pretty impressive. Like Vanderbilt, all facets of their game, they're improving. Texas A&M won their first road game versus a top 10 opponent. And someone, I think it might have been like 50 years, over 50 years. They've beaten some top 25 on the road, a few, but first top 10 opponent, I believe. Someone wants to correct me or tell me the year when it was. I saw some graphic come up, but Mike Elko has turned this program around. They found a quarterback in Reed that can get the job done running and throwing the football, and they overcame a punt block for a touchdown to start the game and a team that was ready to play, Notre Dame, coming off a bye. They found a way to get the win. Some people will say, oh, it was holding on the offensive line in the last play. There's 3 or 4 calls that should have been called the other way earlier in the game. So A&M is on the rise. I think they're a top maybe 7-8 team in the country. Missouri is a team that everyone thought they're losing all this talent on offense. Their quarterback, their running back, a couple really good receivers. Well, Bo Prabilla, backup for Penn State. Not saying he's a prospect as far as an NFL quarterback, but he is better, in my opinion, than Drew Allar, college quarterback. Drew Allar is big. He's like 6'6". You know, he has a rocket arm, can throw the ball probably 75, 80 yards. But that's not what it's all about. Being a former college quarterback, I can study these guys, and Bo Prabilla is flat out, in my opinion, a better college quarterback, and they're more dynamic. So 3 teams in college football, I think, on the rise, and I certainly wouldn't go against them right now.
Now, on the flip side, just flipping to the NFL, a couple of the winless teams that have struggled, who are you keeping an eye on that really you should be going against moving forward?
Well, Chicago Bears, injuries to the defense right now, cornerback position, safety position. You know, I think that he's a great head coach, but I think it's going to take a while for Caleb Williams to come around. So, you know, if they lose to Dallas, not saying the wheels are going to come off, you know, they're in a rebuilding mode here, but they have some good talent. The offensive line is much, much better. You see the way they're blocking. They have receivers. They've got some pretty good linebackers. They're just injured right now and just playing some good teams, you know. They dominated Minnesota for 3 quarters, just got dominated. It was a bad setup against Detroit. Detroit losing. They had to travel, had to play on grass. You know, so Detroit was ready, and they laid it on them. Miami is horrific. The worst cornerbacks I've seen since the merger in 1970. I don't know if any one cornerback would make any other roster. They are that bad. No tight ends, offensive line. They've already lost to offensive right guard and offensive tackle. 2 is nothing. Tennessee Titans are also bad. There's a reason they drafted first. New Orleans, I think, is tanking. I think the Dolphins could offer Tua and say, we'll pay 70 of the $80 million out after this year. New Orleans wouldn't take him. They want to evaluate all the quarterbacks and would not take them. They don't want to win. Jets, now all of a sudden, some injuries. Some key quarterbacks injured, and Justin Fields may not play in this next game. They're sitting at 0-3. They're in trouble. And then Cleveland. Cleveland's Cleveland. They'll do whatever they can to lose and always be a horrible franchise. And it starts at the top. Look at a lot of these franchises. Miami. Look at the Jets. Look at Cleveland. Bad owners, bad GMs, either bad coaches or coaches haven't done anything, but they don't have the support system to get them the right talent. So those are some of the college teams, I think, on the rise, and NFL teams that I certainly wouldn't put my hard-earned money on.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on all of these teams moving forward and see who turns it around or who keeps their losing ways going as we continue heading into week 3 of the NFL. Got some more baseball picks to get to, and we will do that coming up next right here on Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and that's right. The NFL season is here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And week 3 is coming up. Dolphins-Bills to kick it off Thursday night in Buffalo. Bills a heavy favorite there. And Josh Allen, he is the MVP favorite right now alongside Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. You can bet on those MVP odds. Also, the Bills, one of the Super Bowl favorites as well. And you can bet on that at FanDuel. Also, all the games coming up this weekend. inside the league. Sides, totals, money lines, player props, all of it is there at FanDuel, and as well as the player rewards. So many choices you have. Are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. We continue here on a Tuesday. It is Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. We will get to the college football lock, Michigan and Nebraska, coming up in just a bit. Big one inside the Big Ten. And that is coming up. But a couple baseball plays here and a couple blowouts. We'll start with number one in the American League.
Oh, boy. Last one out. Turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
The Mariners have caught fire again because they played at home, so that helps them. They just swept the Angels and knocked off the Cardinals. So now just prove your worth on the road. That's the key for Seattle. And they're in Kansas City tonight to begin a 3-game set with the Royals, who have struggled of late. And we're going to go with the Mariners -0.5 run in the first 5. You can get it at around -110 at most books. Logan Gilbert, he has not had a lot of luck in the first 5 innings simply because his offense hasn't helped him. In 5 of his past 7 starts in the first 5, Seattle has scored 0 runs. So you can get some runs here. You got a shot, but also on the flip side, Gilbert has allowed 1 run in the first 5 in each of his past 4 starts. Now, Seattle 6-1-2 in the last 9 in the first 5. That's good. Kansas City 1-6-1 in the last 8 in the first 5. They've had their struggles. Michael Waka 4-1 in his past 5 at home in the first 5, but still, I'm going to go with Logan Gilbert as pitching better. Seattle, the better offense. Let's go with the Mariners tonight as our blowout special.
I like it. I love Logan Gilbert. Give me some money on Logan Gilbert. He's big, he's strong, he's dominating. I think the Seattle offense is coming around. So for once, Seattle's showing me both facets of the game, pitching and also hitting.
Yeah, that American League West, very interesting. You have Astros, Rangers continuing their series in Houston. So very, very good baseball coming down the stretch. Padres and Mets, we brought up Michael King before and his strikeout prop. Now let's look at the side for another blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out. Turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
So Padres and Mets beginning a 3-game set at Citi Field, and the Mets, big win over the Rangers a few days ago. It's so funny. The Mets can play so well and then just disappear for months on end. And if they can just get in the playoffs, we saw the run they made last year. Who knows? Padres 2 back of the Dodgers in the NL West. So, Lee, what do you like here with San Diego, New York?
All right, let's look at the pitching matchup here. And we talked about, the pitcher that we have going for us in San Diego. And this is like, they're a small underdog, like plus 105, plus 110. But I think that they're going to be ready for this game here. So you have a pitcher who matches up well against the hottest hitter. And when you match up against the polar bear, who was the guy that saved him, that's a big plus here. Now, he did come back. He pitched in the last game. He was not great. Let's just be honest. He battled around there, and he's a guy that, like I said, he's going to strike out probably 1 batter per inning. Needs some help, and a couple times here since he was called back up. He's been effective. 4-2 record, 2.87 ERA, and feel that he's a guy that I think he's a leader. He looks like he wants the ball, which is important. I look at the guy's facial expressions. And then on the other side, Clay Holmes, 151 innings pitched, only 122 strikeouts. Not a guy that's going to strike out a lot of people, and walked 62 guys in 151 innings. So his ERA is 3.75. He has a much higher expected ERA, and people are going to go, oh, I'm going to bet the Mets because they won in a walk-off the last game. Doesn't mean anything. Brand new team coming in here. This Padre team just a couple games back from the Dodgers here. I think when I look at the schedule, you tell me if I'm right or not. I think that they have the easier schedule than the Dodgers. What do you think there?
Yeah, the Padres get the Mets, then the White Sox on the road, and then they get Milwaukee and Arizona at home. And Milwaukee has already won the Central, and we'll see, where they're at. Arizona's actually playing better. Arizona's still hanging around the wild card. Dodgers continue their series with the Phillies. They got the Giants at home who are playing well, and then Arizona and Seattle. And Seattle may need that series to win the West.
Right. So, and Arizona is only 2 back, of a wild card. So I think that's important. So I think the San Diego team is going to be right there. Who knows? Might come down the last day or two or last weekend. I just can't trust the Mets. I think something's wrong with the DNA. Something's wrong in the clubhouse. I love the polar bear, but the rest of the guys in there, there's something missing. So I'm going to take San Diego here. They're plus like 105, 110. I'm going to call that my second blowout special.
Yeah, and the Padres here, again, big series for them. See if they can take care of business on the road against the Mets. Coming up, we will take a look at the Big Ten and the lock of the day, Michigan and Nebraska. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Tuesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. Michigan and Nebraska. Big battle in the Big Ten. Wolverines on the road as a favorite. Let's take a look now at the lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Big Ten opener for both these teams. Michigan, they lost at Oklahoma a few weeks ago. Now another one on the road for them. Nebraska's cleaned up at home. Lee, what do you like here with the Wolverines and the Cornhuskers?
Boy, the road Michigan has to travel here to start the early season. Not easy here. A very much improved Oklahoma team. Good quarterback, really good quarterback, John Mateer, came over from Washington State. And his running and throwing was the difference, I thought, in that game a couple weeks ago. Now they got to travel to Nebraska. And the question is, can Michigan, with a talented roster, probably 1 through 40, more talent than Nebraska, on the road, can they beat a team that has pretty good talent, but the better quarterback this stage of his career right now, Dylan Raiola, and also a really good offensive coordinator? And I'm talking about Dana Holgorsen, former head coach, former really good coordinator wherever he's been. Here's the questions I have about Michigan, and their defense is good. Bryce Underwood is going to be great, but I think he's going to take his lumps until probably late in this year. Third downs, anything above 5 yards, they throw a lot of passes underneath before the sticks, and it requires running backs out of the backfield, requires tight ends on faking a counter one way, rolling the other way, throwing it to the tight end, to make a catch and maybe elude a defensive player, and throwing some short underneath stuff when teams know that and expect it, you're going to have to execute. And I think that's tough here. So Nebraska's defense so far has not played great competition, but in their 3 wins, held Houston Christian to 160 total yards, Akron to 190, and Cincinnati, who is under the radar as far as offense, to 271 total yards. So I think the defense for Nebraska is underrated here. Also head coach, and not that Sharon Moore is good for Michigan. I think he's mediocre at best. He can't coach this game. He couldn't even meet with his team this week. He's out of the facility. Who's the head coach? Biff Poggi. You're saying, Biff, Back to the Future Poggi? Yeah, the same guy that was fired at Charlotte, used to wear the sweatshirts cut off, the top of the shoulders, and go for it often on 4th down, left and right. And his team was an embarrassment. I didn't think that they were organized. Didn't think that they played well at the best moments. Matt Rule, head coach for Nebraska. How good is he? Well, at Baylor, when he was a home dog, he was 5-2 against the spread. The first year in Nebraska throwout, he had nothing. They did go 0-2 as a home favorite. Didn't have the talent, didn't have the quarterback, didn't have anything here. Last year started coming. This year, I think they're turning the corner. I love Dylan. I'm almost I'm kind of like a I don't know what the right exact word to say it is. He's like an understudy, wears the same number as Patrick Mahomes, but maybe Patrick Mahomes wannabe, but I think he's going to play at the next level. So I like Dylan Raiola, like Dana Holgorsen, like head coach Matt Rule at home as a home underdog here. Lock of the day. Nebraska pulls off the upset here. Wrong team favorite also, 24-21.
Yeah, it should be a very good game. And Nebraska's road ahead. If they can win this game, they got a shot. They really do, because the competition isn't too tough. They miss Ohio State on the schedule, and Nebraska really can make a nice headway with a win on Saturday. Lee, what is going on with Paramount Sports as we are just a few days away from beginning the next week in football?
Player props, got those through the Super Bowl, $5.97. So if you want to play college player props and NFL player props, you're going to get probably 8 to 12 probably every single week. $5.97. It's a promo offer. Next year it's going to be $15.97 to $19.97. So hop on it. $5.97. That goes through the Super Bowl. Those are texted to you. My service, we're going to be rolling out some stuff. So we're going to probably have a weekly special for this weekend. Might do our hasn't gone up yet, but we might do our Baker's Dozen, 13 games, college and pro, $97. So check the website later tonight, early tomorrow. That might be up and available to you. And then the season, $16.97 gets you through the Super Bowl. So you want to hop on board, just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And again, we appreciate you liking and subscribing to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as our podcast on Spotify and Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcast, Locked On Bets. Your support is greatly appreciated. We'll be back with you coming up on Wednesday for another edition of Locked On Bets. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. We appreciate you again tuning into Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.